Welcome to the Good Viral podcast.
We believe that people can and want to do more to help others.
So we invite you to join the conversation about the small and large ways that we can help people, animals, and the planet. We'll talk about real stories, like the turtle who had a straw stuck up its nose and how the video went viral in 2018 and changed the course of businesses like megacorp Disney to change their straws to paper. We'll exchange exciting ideas and meet with guests who are actively making a positive impact with their time on this earth.
You don't have to do much to inspire a lot. Through this podcast, we want to make things easier for people like yourself to get involved.
When good goes viral, the world gets better. Welcome to Good Viral. This is our first episode, so welcome everybody. We've got some amazing things, I think, some exciting things to talk about.
Yes, I'm excited. This podcast, what is Good Viral? That's really what we wanted to kind of bring and share to everyone today. It's interesting how Good Viral kind of came about. We're not going to necessarily discuss that piece too much, but we really wanted to talk about what is Good Viral, because the idea of viral, we think viral videos, maybe we think of COVID-19, but we really want to focus on the goodness that can be viral around the entire world. And that was kind of the spark that ignited Good Viral. So Demian, what does Good Viral really mean to you in terms of what we're doing here on the podcast?
Yeah. What it means to me and really, you might say the inspiration behind our whole concept here is the fact that there's a lot of things that are really catchy out there, and suddenly it seems like you know about something and suddenly a million people know about that thing. And when it's something that is kind of amazing or kind of beautiful or really helps people or does some positive impact, it's really kind of special. And it's interesting how those things happen when nobody really can plan for that. It's just something that just happens on its own spontaneously. So, looking at that phenomenon and saying, hey, is that something that we can really try to help, that we can really try to promote? If we see something that is happening that's really interesting or helpful or beautiful in some way, can we put our energy behind that and say, hey, this is something that I believe in. This is something I want to further. And so that idea extends. Well, the word viral is an interesting word because it's really sort of a modern word to describe something going, crazy, very popular. But using that word, piggybacking on the popularity of that word, really, it's more than just videos or some kind of digital content, right? It's really ideas, things that happen, and sometimes I've seen things that maybe 10 years ago only a few people were talking about, and now everybody's talking about it and it's commonplace. And I like the idea of trying to put more effort behind those things that we know we want to be popular. The basic idea, and this is what we keep coming back to, is that we believe that people can and want to do more to help others, right? And that idea pretty much sums it up for me, is the fact that I myself, I know that I have like this desire inside to do more for others, to contribute more than I have been. But the question is, how do I do that? And so, if somebody came along and made it easy for me to do that, then I would do it. I mean, if it was easy, if it was right in front of me, I would absolutely do it. And so for me, Good Viral is basically about putting it in front of people and making it easy for them and giving them an opportunity to be part of something. And so it's really a big idea, right? It's an idea of collectively gathering people with the intention of doing good things in their lives where maybe they hadn't done that before. It's a long answer, but that's for me what Good Viral is about. And sometimes it's very specific things that we can talk about in this podcast, and we're going to talk about a lot more. But sometimes it's things that are more general. And I think the general ideas of sort of the underlying desire that people have to make a contribution, a positive contribution, is really what we're tapping into. And that's sort of the beauty of GoodViral, right?
Mhm.
So for you, Anastasia, how would you answer that question? What is GoodViral to you?
GoodViral to me is kind of that opportunity word that you put out there. I would have discussions with people and tell them, all the things in the world that I would love to fix or love to help with, or, organizations I've discovered and found really cool in how they modeled, like Charity Water and Louis Structures and ZipWorks and stuff. And most of those who may be listening right now probably have never heard of those, right? And once upon a time, I never heard of them either. And when hearing about all these awesome organizations, or you see the commercials, or you see the videos, or you hear about these stories, there's a very unclear understanding of how you can get involved, really. And, that's part of marketing, but that's also part of like, well, do I want to be part of this movement or do I want to be part of that movement? And I really feel like this podcast gives that educational piece as well as that inspirational piece of how you can get involved quickly. And because when I speak with people, I was telling you, Demian, just a couple weeks ago, I was speaking with a couple younger people than I, and they're going, wow, that sounds like such a great idea, because whenever I see a video or I hear of a story, I just don't know what to do. I want to help, but I don't know who to trust, where to go to, how does that work? And so just bringing more story and, information of whatever it may be, an organization, a guest, an experience, or a problem. And just to have that discussion so people not only get a little bit more educated, but they also get an understanding of, if they do get involved, what is that really doing? And I really feel that that's going to make a lot of change in how people approach in the overall arching word of not-for-profit or nonprofit or charity, or even just doing acts of goodness, right? Acts of goodness do not have to be tied to charity. They can be something local, something national, something international, or something galactic now that we're going into space. But the clarity isn't quite there. And I feel like these discussions we're going to have with GoodViral, with the awesome guests that we're already bringing on board, and just to really learn more about how we can get involved. If I do this, what does it actually do? How does it create a direct impact? I don't feel like you need to see a sad commercial to feel like you want to do something. There's always the wonderful ASPCA commercials. If anyone's listening, go Google it. You don't know what that is. ASPCA. They show these, very disheveled and maybe even, abused animals, like dogs and cats especially. And they're an organization that, saves these animals and rehabilitates them and brings them into loving homes. And when you see these animals and they're just like, they got the sad music playing in the background, right? Sarah McLachlan music. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to cry right away. And you want to do something. You want to pick up that phone and you want to donate, right? In a sense, that's what I feel GoodViral can be, but it doesn't always have to be sad. It can be good. It can be great. It can just be that call to action of inspiration that somebody has to do good, but with that story and information behind it. So it's another approach. It's another way to get people involved, to take quick and solid action through storytelling. And I love storytelling.
Right.
So that's what GoodViral is to me, is to really bring that story so that people who want to do more good, right, who can and want to do more good, to give them that opportunity to take action quickly.
Right, sure. And it doesn't always have to be about money either.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing, is that, again, I think that we really do good things all the time. If you think about it, we help out friends, we help family members. We even, like we were talking about, helping an old lady walk across the street, or somebody asks, the example I like is somebody asks for directions, and without even thinking, you just give them directions. I mean, you're literally helping a total stranger. And usually at the end of that interaction, the person's like, oh, okay, thanks. But in a casual way, you don't really need much more than that. It's just one person helping another person. And it's something that unites humanity. And so really, I think GoodViral, and piggybacking on what you're saying, is about inspiring people, right? To say, hey, maybe if I spent more of my time doing sort of the things that I know I really want to do to help others, then maybe maybe my life will be better. Maybe their lives will be better. Maybe this world can be a better place, And it starts with small actions. It starts with, every little thing that we do every day, it's not just about giving money when we feel guilty about seeing a poor sick animal, right? Or, I mean, not that that's, of course, it's a beautiful cause, right? And there are many beautiful causes where money is maybe the most important thing that you can do to help, right? But but that's not always what everybody has. So what about all those people who don't have money right now to give, right? So does that mean that they can do nothing, that they're just going to sit there and do nothing? And so for me, the idea of people gathering together and saying, hey, we want to do something, let's figure out how to do something, that's more important than putting a dollar value on anything. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, because before you even do the dollar, it's a conversation. Whether you're having it with somebody else or you're having it within your head. Any kind of action, it's always that dialogue, internal dialogue of saying, is this something I believe in? Is this something I care about? And is this something I really want to change? And I think we have those dialogues a lot and very often, but it's that connecting factor. How do I get involved? Whether it's monetization or small acts of kindness or, large gestures of giving and volunteering, whatever that may be, it's really having that dialogue and seeing if it's very important to you. And for me, I see, because I come from a background of speaking and, writing and marketing, and I've seen storytelling being not only a way to really inspire people, but to get connected as well. Because, a lot of people, they say, I just don't know what to do, right? And to me, that just translates to, you're just not feeling very connected to the message. You're just not feeling very connected to that story. And so I really feel like these discussions not only get an internal dialogue going, but it also gets an external dialogue with others or as listeners to this dialogue when we're speaking to each other or with guests, how again, that storytelling of inspiration and action can take place and how they can get involved. And even if it's just sharing the story, that's a small piece of action, because that one share could reach two more. And in a sense, it's that duplication factor, right? One person to 2 leads to 4, leads to 8, leads to et cetera, et cetera. And so it's that ripple effect, right? And I feel like that's kind of what it's really a piece of what we're doing, is creating a ripple effect of good viral, right? That's the viral part. And so if we can tell a story that reaches a multitude of people because it went semi-viral or crazy viral, whatever level that would be, that inspiration leads to lots of action. It leads to lots of change. And I know our listeners and watchers here are really going to see a lot of that ripple effect with many of the guests that we're going to bring on board. I'm really excited to speak to many of these. If you all have seen the trailer, you all kind of know who I'm talking about, or you read our description, you know who's kind of coming on board as our early guests. But Good Viral to me is not only bringing these great people on to hear their stories and to duplicate that. It's really about what is the impact we want to create on this world, and having more of those discussions. Because for me, Good Viral is a deterrent from all of the media out there that is just putting out crap. I mean, we can all agree that mostly if we turn on our television or we put on a news station, or even sometimes just opening your phone to whatever app it is, you're finding crap and you're just going, is this all there is? Is there not more for me to do and be connected with? And I feel like these stories can reach those hearts and help them find more connection to this world, the people, the planet, the animals, whatever it may be for them, so that their goodness not only is creating an impact, but it also impacts their own lives.
Yeah. What you're saying is really helping clarify for me the answer to the question you asked, what is Good Viral? Because really, it's about the conversation. It's about getting people involved in the conversation and joining us. What I found when I've been talking to my friends, family about what we're doing here, every time I start talking about it, it's almost like the previous conversation that we were having suddenly becomes less important because the current conversation has more value in some way. And so once you start the conversation, once other people join in the conversation, no matter who it is that I'm talking to, you can just see that they really feel like they're like, oh wow, Demian, you're doing something, you're really connecting to something important here, and then and they also always seem to want to participate in that. And so, that tells me that maybe it's just a matter of shifting the conversation for people, like what is it we've been talking about or been doing with our lives. I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of the things that we've ever done or the mistakes that we make, right? But sometimes we do things that are better, that have a better impact, that have better results, that we like more. And so, yeah, that's it. It's about the conversation. It's about getting people to say, yeah, I want to be part of that,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
So I feel like
yeah.
we're building this collective of good viralness. We have yet to kind of discover what we
Mhm.
would call ourselves if we were groupies. Maybe the goodies or the goody two shoes. I don't know. But I feel like we're really going to be building, not ego here. It's just like to your point, those who you're talking to, they're going, wow, this is really different and a great concept, right?
Mhm.
We're already starting to get people who want to be involved quickly, and it's purely because of the mission and reason about Good Viral. It's to really put opportunity in front of others through storytelling, that there's not only conversation, but with conversation comes action. And so with that movement, and I say movement because it is a piece of that, a movement to bring a collective of people together to have that community and really build on a good viral nature, right? And so good viral to me is very meaningful as it is to you, Damian. And I feel our listeners here, if you're listening right now, you might be feeling like, I'm a little curious about what good viral is about. Well, you can always go to our show notes here where you're listening or watching. You can check out our links that goes to our landing pages and websites. And there you're going to find more information about Good Viral. And we're also on every social media platform with goodviral.org. And you can follow us there. So, Damian, let me ask you real quick. Let me ask you, Damian, how do you feel this message can spread in terms of depth across the world? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I've always felt like there's been, there's for as long as I've been alive, there's been charities out there, right? And there's always sort of like this. It seems like this gap between traditional businesses and charities, or there's people who give to charities, people who don't give to charities,
Mm.
and really it's about for me it's about putting all those people together in the same group instead of in distinct different groups and saying, hey,
Mhm.
look, regardless of what it is that we're all doing, we probably want pretty much the same things. I mean, we want to be safe, we want to be happy, we want to be healthy, and most of the ugly, horrible things I think that happen in this world are probably out of our control for the most part, happening by, maybe people that are doing things that we can't really stop, or sometimes it's the momentum of a company that's doing things that we can't stop. And so for me, the idea is really far reaching. The idea of that if people just take effort to be involved in something, to get involved in something. And so Good Viral is about putting information in front of people to say, hey, look, these are some possible things that you can do, right? These are ways that you can help today. These are things that you can start doing immediately. And also in a way that inspires people to say, hey, look, this is something really cool that I'm working on, to all of their friends and family. And so, I think that the idea is more than just, we're not just really creating a charity here. We're not creating just another thing that's already in existence. What we're looking to do is really literally something that hasn't been done before. Is we're looking to create a large group of people that are trying to look at all the possible ways that they can make the world better, really, for people, for animals, for the environment, just everything that lives on this planet, and so there isn't a limit to that. And it's like every time we talk, you and I, we have another idea about wow, this could really happen, or wow, that could happen. And it's like, and that's just two people talking. Imagine when you have
Mhm.
this conversation being had by 10,000 people, all the possibilities that can happen out of this. And so for that reason, we're not connecting ourselves to any particular nation or any particular religion or any particular belief system or any particular anything. We're only connecting ourselves to the fundamental nature of human beings, which is, I believe that, most people have good inside them, and most
Mhm.
people want to do good things, and that's just who we are. That's part of how we're built, and I think that sometimes we get so busy at trying to just live our lives, trying to pay bills, trying to take care of our families, just trying to make ends meet sometimes, or we get so busy trying to, have success in our jobs, or we get, busy trying to, even if it's, for example, we're just trying to be really good at something, but we get so busy sometimes at some of these things that it's almost like we don't have time to do the more important things. So in the back of my mind, I've always thought, well, someday, right? Someday I'll get to these things, right? And I finally got tired of it. It's like, that day really will never come unless I mean, really, it's today. This is it. This is it. And so you know what? I'm going to do all those other things. I'm going to take care of myself and my family, and I'm going to work hard to make sure that I succeed in the things that I want to do. But at the same time, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing what I can to help others, and and so I don't think there's a limit to it, you know,
Yeah.
and yeah,
I agree.
yeah. So
So it's going to be interesting as we finish this episode, because I'm excited as we move into having those not only interviews but more discussions, is really learning more about the stories that have gone viral. Because we have this, our slogan is, "When good goes viral, the world gets better." And I'm really excited to hear more about those viral stories and to hear more from the people that were really at the epicenters of those stories too, and how those really change things. So I'm really excited for our audience. I'm excited for us to hear these stories. It's going to be new. It's going to be different. There's going to be things we have never heard before. There's also going to be things that we have heard before. And so I'm very excited to get these new ideas, new conversations on the table, and not only that, but to also hear from our audience here who's listening in the comments or in our community, just what their thoughts are. What ideas do they have? What stories can they bring? I'd love to hear those things too in the comments. If you're listening, do feel free about commenting wherever on your social platforms or whatnot. Those ideas, we'd love to hear from you. And please do tag us. We're GoodViral.org, O-R-G, GoodViral.org, on any social platform. We got them all. So you can always tag us if you see a video, if you hear of a story, or if you see a blog, tag us in there and we'll see it. And we'll be inspired ourselves from your action of Good Viral. So, Demian, do you have any last thoughts?
well, I wanted to ask you one thing, if you'll share it with us, because I know, Anastasia, you've been involved with a lot of podcasts and you've done a lot of things. So
Just a few.
can
Yeah.
you, yeah, can you tell us why, what attracted you to this podcast?
I think it's that slogan, really. When good goes viral, the world gets better. We have seen how viralness can make chaos, it can bring goodness, it can bring good action, it can bring bad action, it can bring fear, especially. I mean, that's one of the main drivers of many media channels today. And to me, I would love to bring more call upon courage, bravery, inspiration, and goodness. And so for me, this podcast is the start of hopefully something that will begin to lead into a good viral across the world, that leads to great stories that need to be told, that highlights the goodness in nature to not only create action, but also to give hope to those that are feeling lost. And
Mm.
that's a big piece right now with COVID. So I would love to just have that message sent out even further, because again, I think that slogan is so key to what we do, is when the world goes viral, or when good goes viral, the world gets better, right? So that's my question. But what about you, Demian?
Well, for me, this podcast is just a stepping stone, right, to the overall message, what we're trying to do here. And, really there's no, you might say, platform, whether it's whether we're talking about social media or we're talking about podcasts or we're talking about our website or of course the app that we'll be introducing in a bit, right? And all of the different ways that we can connect with people. Really, that's all it is for me. I just got to a point where I felt like, you know what? I know there's other people out there who feel the same way I do. I just need to connect with them and just talk to them and just get something going. And the more that it's amazing how fast that happens. I have one small conversation, and the next thing I feel like that just turns into something really big very, very quickly. And so the momentum that I can create just with one other person is incredible. Imagine the momentum that we can and are going to create once we have many, many people talking about this. So yeah, I mean, there's my parting thoughts is, as I invite all of you listeners, I invite everybody who is out there who feels like we do to join the conversation and to say, put your hand up and say, yeah, this is something I would like to be a part of, and there really is nothing to be afraid of here, right? Because we're not asking for anything except for people to be involved in something that they already want to do. That's what we're asking from you all is to be involved, and well, if you don't, then I think that one of these days you're going to come back and you're going to join us because I don't, I haven't seen a whole lot of things out there that are inviting people the way that we are. So join us. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on our first podcast, recording at least, of Good Viral. And we hope to hear you and see you in your comments and your tags and your followings. And we'd love to hear from you guys there. So please be active in those areas. And thanks for tuning in with our Good Viral podcast. We are so excited for you to listen to our future episodes with our guests and more conversations with me and Demian.
Thank you for listening to the Good Viral podcast and being part of the conversation. If you are inspired by this episode, go to our website at goodviral.org, where you can find resources and listings from the episode to continue good efforts.
Like, comment, and share this episode to any or all of your social media channels. It's really easy to take a small action, and maybe you'll inspire a big result.
When good goes viral, the world gets better.